So on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about something that inspired the both of us, and you all might have seen it too on social media as well. It's the reel or the video, the story, whatever, of this 85-year-old woman, and the ages I might not get exact.
It's been 85, it's been 90.
It's been all kinds of numbers, yeah. So it's an 85-year-old woman, and all of a sudden she wakes up in her 33, 36-year-old body, or an 85-year-old man, and all of a sudden he wakes up and gets one day in his 33-year-old body.
Yeah.
And anytime I see those, and I think you echo this as well, it like totally tears us up because we're like, oh my gosh, that will be us one day, that we will be 85, thinking back to our 33-year-old selves.
Yeah.
But just the idea.
And plus, you always see it right after you just yelled at your kid. And
you always see it right after
you just yelled at your kid and threatened them to beat them. And then you read this thing about how those are the precious times that you're going to miss one day.
Oh, it tears me up.
And that's why it always comes across then.
That's so true. But it is like such a knock on perspective and gratefulness and getting in the right headspace and heart space and everything like that. So it does encourage me. I don't want to walk around feeling guilty, because we're going to have our hard moments and our bad moments and our tough moments. But it is a good, reminder.
It is a reminder.
Where you're at, and one day you won't be where you're at.
Yeah.
So be here now type of thing. But it really does,
it's a good
affect
present.
my heart.
It is a good present moment, one. And you do think about those things. But I said, after that, I'm like, so sometimes those things, and that's probably what you were about to roll into, but there is the reverse side of them. I'm like, I do like thinking about enjoy a lot of the times. The only part of that story that I'm going to call out, though, is whenever they were talking about in the car and that they were throwing food and that they were enjoying it.
See, I don't know a specific story. I actually don't know a specific story.
There's a full story.
Oh, okay. I've just seen people on Instagram making reels about what they would do if they were 85 and woke up in their 33-year-old body. They'd be looking at their muscles, so grateful that they were strong enough to lift their kids. They would be so grateful to be able to run outside and play tag with their children. So I actually did not know that there was a specific story.
I'm 85 years old, and somehow I woke up in my 36-year-old body just for one day. This time, I knew what to treasure. I hear a tiny voice before I open my eyes. Mama, wake up. I blink. He's standing there, bedhead, pajama pants too short. My little boy. He's small again. He climbs into my bed, laughing. He wraps his arms around my neck. I used to check the clock. Rush the morning, but not today. Today, I hold him tight, long, and deep. I walk to the mirror. No gray, no wrinkles, no aches in my knees. Just me, 36, tired, but strong. My husband is in the kitchen making coffee. He smiles when he sees me. Younger, softer, so familiar. I wrap my arms around him. This time I don't let go quickly. We used to rush past each other. Today I hold him close and whisper, thank you. That's what we need to come back to. The kitchen floor is sticky. There are Legos underfoot, socks on the counter. I used to sigh. Feel behind, get frustrated, but now I stand still and just soak it all in. My little son chatters all through breakfast, stories about superheroes and questions about monsters. This time I listen, really listen. No phone, no distractions, just him, all his beautiful, curious voice. In the car,
the voice.
In the car, he sings loudly. This is it. He sings loudly, kicks the seat, spills a snack. I used to snap. Now I smile and enjoy the moment. Because one day, the seat will be empty. I'll miss the noise. In the evening, I pick up the phone. I hear my mama's voice. Tears fill my eyes before I say a word. I forget how much comfort lives in her voice. We talk about nothing, the weather, what she's cooking, but it means everything. I tell her I love her again and again. I don't want to hang up. At bedtime, I don't rush. He picks his favorite superhero book, the one I've read 100 times. Tonight, I read every single word slowly, and then I ask, one more. He nods. I don't want this night to end. He whispers, you're the best mom. I hold his small hand, kiss his soft cheek, whisper how proud I am. His lashes flutter, his chest rises and falls, and I just watch, soaking it in. Tomorrow I'll be 85 again, and he will be grown, busy, bigger, out in the world. But tonight, I get this precious moment, and now I know this is joy. This was joy. This was love. This was everything.
Oh, my.
That was like a race to not cry.
I have a frog in my throat.
It was like a race. I read it to Kylan and Mike the other day, and I was like, I have to say this fast and not
You
think.
have to get it out
It
fast.
has to be a
Yes,
a
I cannot
task.
actually picture my
I'm
children
not. I didn't even.
while reading that.
You can tell me what it said. I didn't pay attention to what it said. I just read words because I'm like, if I think about this, I'd start crying too.
Yeah. So my first initial thought is I'm not going to feel guilty for like having the hard moments, the tough moments, or for snapping if they've spilt or thrown their food for the 30th time that day. Because guilt is heavy. It is, you'll see it on your face, you'll feel it in your actions. So I'm not going to feel guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I am going to let that help my perspective, or maybe give me some kick in the butt for the day of like, keep going. You got this. Like, these moments are going to be gone at one point, but that doesn't mean that what's coming isn't also going to be great as well.
Be something great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have the athletic green spill, an egg broken that you step in, get a dirty diaper.
I'm not going to
thrown at
take
you and
in
hitting the
stepping on
nuts.
Legos. I'm not going to take in and enjoy the moment of food being
Thrown
thrown
in
at my
my-
face that I
yeah.
just cooked for them that they asked for. There's a few things that I'm not going to.
There was something the
enjoy
other day.
moment.
Yeah, your finger. You got hit like 8 times in your finger the other day, almost broken. Wiley cartwheel kicked you, and then everybody after that kept
Somehow got to my finger.
literally punching your finger and hand, headbutting it, everything. It was crazy. It
I
was
won't
like
miss those moments.
No.
And I'm not going to enjoy the moments and while it's happening.
I know that's what we said, because I do think that the side of the fear aspect of that you're missing it, I don't like that,
I don't
because
like
I'm
that
like,
either.
I think this is what it is. It is like for me, I'm like, it's okay if you are frustrated and it's tough, and you enjoy. We do romanticize the past. Like if you look back, gosh,
100%.
The business and stuff too. The one before, it's like, man, remember when it was just the pool cleaning business and just the guys and the little Christmas party, and I'm like, yeah, I can remember well though
That
how
you worked
hellish
about
it was.
16-hour days out in the Florida heat.
Minimum. It was like a 28-hour workday, and so
Yeah, you definitely romanticize the past, which I think part of that
it's good.
is just thinking about your life beautifully, which I like that part of it, but I don't want that to make me fearful or scared about moving into the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Or that every day is a loss. You're like, I'm moving so much closer.
Yeah.
Because what we said was our thing was we have done well with sticking to our plan. That was my thing. Like, things change and life isn't exactly how you want. That's okay. But the main things where I said, we talked about more vacation time, or at least time together. We've done the schooling, how we wanted to. We've definitely went from business and the evolution of me, more family, and not just 18-hour work days, and more family time. We've done well. We've done well with the schooling and how you want it to look and our activities. And so I'm like, I know that we feel free that at a certain time we'll be like, well, we are all going to hang out even more, and travel.
Well, for sure. And I mean, I just posted on my Instagram, I was planning on homeschooling my kids from the start. I did not know that I was going to be owning a business and being a large part of that. And then I also wasn't planning on having a third kid. And so throw those two things in the mix, and I just my brain was not able to also homeschool. But the cool thing is, once you realize that you're not locked down to a decision, and if you've created your life in a way for freedom, next year I can say, do I want to homeschool my kids? Am I ready for that yet? Or, do I want to send Wiley back to school? And if it's send her back, then she goes back. And the next year we can reevaluate that again. So it's like every year I'm evaluating, is what season are we in? Can I go back to my original what's in my heart? And that's to keep my kids home with me. Or is this one more year where we kind of go to plan B? But still, plan B was beautiful this year. She absolutely loved school. She loved her teacher. She loved her friends. So it really didn't feel like plan B. It really felt like it was a right choice for where we were. But my plan is definitely at some point for all my kids to be home with me and for us to be traveling together and experiencing school out in the world, different countries, different places. But I don't want to do it when they're toddlers.
No.
I just don't. That's my personal opinion. It's very hard to travel with toddlers.
You want to do it like the bucket list family.
Well, the
they
bucket list
traveled with
family
toddlers.
did travel with their toddlers. They actually almost did it opposite. They bought a home once their daughter was in school age almost and could enter into sports and stuff like that and settled down once that happened. But they traveled all the years before that with all the little babies. But I just feel like for us, we're putting in the business hours, we're putting in these toddler hard years, and then I just feel like it's both going to come together where it is a little bit more manageable.
I think so.
For us to world school, I think is what it's called.
And Wiley can teach.
Yeah, Wiley can teach everybody.
Wiley can be maybe teacher.
But along those lines, expectations versus reality. So let's talk about Saturday night. We went to the movies. My kids love screens and TVs and shows. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Lilo and Stitch is coming out. Let's take them to the movies. They'll absolutely love this activity. They're always asking for more shows, more TV time. And it's something that I think I do fairly well managing my expectations when it comes to my kids. I know what's going to
They're not going to sit
I know it's
still.
going to work, and I know it's not
Yeah.
going to work. And I pretty much don't ever force them into activities where, like, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? I definitely thought that the movie was going to work. We go to the movies, and they sat still for a total of 30 seconds. Popcorn
And yelling.
Popcorn was spilled everywhere. Walker wants to get down and eat all the popcorn off of the floor. The shoes were thrown. Seats, we're playing musical chairs in the seats. My diaper bag's spilling.
And somehow there's only adults in there, too.
Somehow there was only all adults in Lilo and Stitch. And I'm looking around thinking, where are the children? I
Yeah.
thought this was going to kind of be a noisy movie.
Yeah.
The movie starts out just solemn and serious.
Yeah.
And, like, you actually have to watch and pay attention. I thought Stitch was going to be running around, like, doing his thing. It was going to be, like, music playing. None
This
of
is
that.
Dialogue for like 25
Dialogue
minutes.
for a solid 30 minutes. And they want to get out and, like, explore the bathrooms, like the public bath. I'm like, what is happening? So I was upset that night because I was like, I thought you all would love this. It's basically our TV at home. Just maximized.
Like
you know
y'all
what
are
I
always
mean?
asking for TV.
Yeah, you're always asking for a TV.
They did go with Cloudy with a chance of meatballs before.
Yeah, we trialed
thought.
it. We did a trial with Cloudy with a chance of meatballs, but that was at home
Yeah.
on the couch. And I wonder, like, how many times they jumped off the couch and how many times they ran around the island while we watched that. You know what I mean? So it's like things that you don't notice at home that once you take them into a public space. And I'm honestly fine with kids being kids. Like, I would be fine if if other people's kids were, like, kind of running around the theater and talking and, like, mimicking Stitch's screams and stuff like that. But there were no children in that theater. And mine were
There's
the only
nobody with a backup.
ones. And so you ended up taking them bowling.
Yeah, I took them over there bowling. And then, I mean, it was crazy, too, because not a single, like, I was really carrying at one point because they both went opposite ways.
Which I thought was super brave of you because I would have clocked out, taken him to the car, and let them watch a show in the car for the remainder of the movie.
I was like, I know that they'll like it if we can get to it.
I do love bowling.
But the shoes were wrong, and they were grabbing bowling balls and trying to walk with like 14-pound bowling balls and couldn't. So then, because I don't want to leave them, I'm like, and it was crowded. There was a booth at the end, and I was like, give me that one, by itself. And she's like, those ones don't have the gutter guards down at the end. They were the only two that were just secluded. I'm like, no one's in the bowling booth that you both have to sit there. And I'm like, y'all are going to put me next to somebody else. So I couldn't leave them there to probably run down the lane and go kick a pin and see Wawa coming back through the machine.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
getting spit up like a
getting
bowling
spit
ball.
up through there and him laughing.
cute.
So I had to grab them both, and then they both walked, but then I had two bowling balls, both their shoes, my shoes, and one of those little things that they can just roll the ball on.
Ugh,
It was stupid.
that is so stupid.
And people were just
I'm like aching
glaring.
for your back because I know, and your arms just in the positions that they have to be in to carry all the things.
and made it over there.
It was a hard night for me because
Yeah.
my expectations were high, and then they did not.
We didn't really eat.
We did not eat. They didn't get met. Yeah, expectations did not get met, and we didn't eat. So that always makes it worse.
And
When
no,
expectations aren't met on a
and no
empty
food.
stomach.
That's the worst part. The
But I
expectation
think a
of
lot
food.
of just life in general is having your goals and having your plans and just managing your expectations and kind of like going with the flow and trying to stay positive throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's definitely something that I'm currently working on a lot. Positivity is not my strong suit right now. We were talking the other night that like business, I feel like has really warped my brain and I need to rewire it to positivity. But taking those expectations, gosh, where was I going with that?
Well, one, just because, though, the business is a nut punch to get into because it is romanticized on the other end because most of the stories, 99% of the stories that make it to you are success stories.
Yes.
And so it's always how someone, and then especially on Instagram, social media, every business is like, gosh, they just thought of this idea. They put it out there and wow, look at them. They got
People bought from
148
them.
employees. They're millionaires, and, I think for you to come in and be like, gosh, I'm up here just burning through bracelets in the morning, trying to get these things out. And Dalton's telling me that we're not really even making any money for a year. They're not making money, and that this is the thing that like everyone does. It's hard for your brain to not say failure.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And I don't remember what book it was. I think it's by Caroline Leaf that she just talks about it is a rewiring of the brain. So whether you're a pessimist or an optimist, like your brain just needs to be rewired back to optimism. So I really am. That's like on my list. I have a habit that my habit is scrolling social media, and I'm going to replace some of it with meditating on positivity, like positive words, scripture, worship, because I need to rewire my brain to be thinking positive thoughts, thinking optimistically, if that's a
Or
word.
you need to use ChatGPT.
I'm going to use ChatGPT. Are you kidding me? Our
For
bestie.
the meditation.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But I think the majority of life is walking into any scenario and having your expectations, dropping them as best as you can. And I think we would all enjoy life so much more if we like didn't have expectations. I don't know. But then there's a side of me that's like,
I have expectations.
where you put your energy. If you have expectations and you're putting your energy towards that, is expectations and a goal different? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think so. I'm like, I always say, even coming up with some people in business, that it's an annoyance. Like, it seems like, we were saying this today, it seems like for a moment, you don't get that, the social justice of like someone did something, stupid and you want to let them know. And my thought is that I'm like, well, I'm just playing a different game. Like, my thought is I'm just trying to do well for my family. So some of the petty stuff, or somebody saying something rude or annoying to me, or little challenges doesn't bother me that much because it's not what I'm trying to do. So like in that regard of my expectation being, I want to play this game and I want to win it this way, I feel like I can hold it. I'm just okay with so many, crazy nuances and negative things because most of the time it doesn't affect me.
I know.
It can
See,
annoy
I don't know.
me.
I don't have much to say anymore on that because now I'm like, I don't know what I
don't
think
think you're
about
wrong.
it.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm like, I think having your expectations being super flexible.
Flexible expectations. Maybe like you can have expectations for like your own self, but once you start putting expectations on how other people are going to react or respond, maybe that's where it gets really messy and iffy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like my expectations with that night would have been, we're going to have something to do, however it looks in between, whether they're happy at the park.
We're out of the house. Yeah.
We're out of the house and we're focused on doing this event. And so like, we'll get food. We'll go to this theater. We will go to the park. Outside of that, I'm not sure how they're going to react and how they're going to do.
On the flip side, on Sunday morning, we took them to a beautiful park, lots of open
Great
space, multiple playgrounds, a turf complex over to the side, and it's my personal dream morning. with my family.
We're going again.
And it was great.
It was great.
And they were loud, and they ran, and we laughed, and they threw rocks, and
Chased geese.
chased geese. We chased each other. Like,
Pooped their pants.
they did poop their pants. We ate lunch outside.
We ran a lap.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that to me is more, I feel like,
That one was great.
yeah, that one was great.
And I think just that setup, too, just
It
like
just
we
caters
said,
to toddlers better.
the openness
Yeah.
of it. It wasn't just the park. It was the fact that this park was so open and free. It didn't even seem like, as crazy as it sounds, like some parks, it's like, here's your play area. That whole thing was an area. Like, go wherever you want.
Yeah.
And that setup was like, no, they can run over there. And there wasn't that many people.
There wasn't that many people.
The people that were there were good.
Yeah.
And so that part of it we loved, which we're going to be park people.
Oh, yeah. Wiley had the idea to go to parks all around either the world or America and give them ratings. So we started there at that park, and she gave each little playground a rating, and it was really cute. I think that would be absolutely a fun thing for us to do, to take into our travel years, is to go around and rate parks.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Whenever I get my Sprinter van maxed out. Maxed out Sprinter van. No Lambo. I want a van that costs more than a Lambo. Just this crazy, super nice van.
To make road trips a little bit easier.
And the last thing was, and then I made a friend that you thought that I knew at the end of the park day. Just that guy out there, which I'll always be nice to people, like we said, that are nice to our kids.
Yes.
Let him play with stuff. He had his little setup for his training stuff. And let Gray do whatever he wanted with all of his little cones and flags.
Yeah. And then if you're nice to our children, it's way easier to
We'll be nice to you.
be nice to you. And that's something that I try to remember when we're out and about. Let me be nice to these kids,
Thanks for listening this week. Next week, we are talking about Wiley's Lemonade Stand. That
Was it a success? Was it a failure?
And I'm happy that you said that. I was about to say what it was, and you left it with a hook. But next week, we will talk about that and how many principles, and business-wise and stuff was in the middle of that. I mean, we were coming up with so many things.
So many things.
Lemonade Stand next week.
See you then.